My experience was on March 20, 2012. I was ejected from a moving truck and I wound up under it somehow. I don't really remember the accident itself. Just flashes of images of me stepping onto the step of the truck, the tire really close up. Then I saw black, red, and gray, and, as the tire ran over my head I could feel the pressure of it and tried to scream. I tried to brace myself somehow against it, but my head burst at the top. And then I felt when my hair was caught and the tire slid over my face, peeling almost half of it off, and also my ear. After the truck drove away down the road, I could hear screaming, not sure if my own, and cars honking. I realized I was still in the street, and if the truck hadn't killed me, whatever was coming next would. So I sort of raised myself up on my elbows and knees and attempted to crawl to the curb. I remember my ear hanging by a string of flesh, hanging and dangling by my cheek. I looked up at the people and tried to say, "Help me," but I'm not sure if I got any words out. My friend driving the truck realized what had happened, turned around and came back for me. He picked me up in his arms and put me in the truck. Then proceeded to drive me to the hospital as fast as he could. He ran red lights, staying ahead of the police, who were on his trail. He risked his life and many others trying to save mine. I died sometime during that drive. Last thing I remember was blood squirting on the dashboard in front of me and on the window. And looking in the rearview mirror, for the last time. There's a big gap I don't remember. They say I was combative and convulsing or something when the police got me out of the truck. But I don't recall anything but closing my eyes, lying on the seat of the truck. Then the next thing I remember, I was in the hospital. I heard beeping, a jumble of fast-talking voices, all blurry, very blurry. Then nurses and doctors were rushing around, trying to figure out what my injuries were, and how to stop the bleeding. Things seemed clearer and clearer. And suddenly I found myself standing behind the doctor, who was now cutting my jeans off my body. I looked at myself, lying there, with my head busted open. My new white sweater soaked with blood and getting cut off now, too, my cute jeans all ruined. I decided I wasn't going to stay around to help them resuscitate me, and I left. I don't recall how I ended up back at my dad's house. He had passed away the year before. There I was, with him, and my mom and my uncle, my best friend, my tio. Everybody that had passed away was there. But I only talked to my dad. I never accepted his dying. I missed him too much. So I was happy. I just stared at him and he seemed to glow. He looked so beautiful. But also, he looked sad. So I asked him, "What's wrong?" and he said, "You can't stay." And I was like, "But I'm here, I don't want to go back." And he told me to think of my kids having to grow up without me. He said, "Imagine if I wasn't there when you were little." He died when I was 30, and even at that age, I'd lost my mind wishing he'd come back. Anyway, he was right. And for the second time, my kids saved my life. I'm a mother of 7 perfect little children. My oldest is about to turn 16, I have a 12-year-old, a little girl who's about to turn 9. Another little girl who's about to be 7, a 5-year-old, a 3-year-old and a 2-year-old. So, when all of a sudden I felt them jumping me with those cables, I decided to go back. It was my choice the whole time. Anyway, that's my story. Sorry if I ramble, but these 9 months since the accident have been the best time of my life. I'm finally pursuing my dreams and living purposefully. Best thing that ever happened to me? Being hit by a truck.